in a 5-star hotel suite, wrapped in nothing but a bath towel. I was bending over to test the water temperature. The next second, a pair of large hands dragged me straight into the tub. Before I could even react, the towel covering my chest was ripped away. Right now, hidden beneath the bubbles, someone is pressing a knife against my stomach. Bang! The door flew open. Ma'am, police. This is a raid. We received a tip that a suspect entered this hotel. Have you seen anyone suspicious? A group of guys in plain clothes stormed in, guns drawn, flashing badges in my face. The bubbles in the massive bathtub perfectly concealed the deadly crisis happening between my legs. I didn't dare make a sound. If I screamed for help, the knife pressing against my gut would gut me like a fish before the cops could even take a step. Ma'am, did you hear me? One of the officers, seeing me frozen, barked the question again. I felt the blade tip piercing my skin. The pain was sharp, real. I forced myself to look indignant and screamed, "What suspect? You guys just burst into my room while I'm taking a bath. Can't you see I'm naked? Get the hell out." They paused, realizing the awkwardness of the situation. A naked woman in a tub isn't exactly where a fugitive usually hides. "Clear out," one of them muttered. They retreated quickly. Nobody expected a hardened criminal to be submerged in the water with me. After the door clicked shut, I felt like my heart was going to explode. I missed my only chance to live. Just my luck. Maya Jinx Miller. I've never had a good thing happen to me in my life, and now I hit the jackpot, a death sentence. In those few seconds, my short, miserable life flashed before my eyes. The killer emerged from the water. He gasped for air, his chest heaving. He'd been holding his breath for a long time. A minute later, his breathing steadied. He stood up in the tub, towering over me. "Smart move," he said, his voice raspy. "Otherwise, you'd be a corpse right now." My body was locked up. I couldn't move. It was a miracle I hadn't passed out from the shock. I just won a lottery for this trip. I don't know anything," I stammered, my teeth chattering. "Please, don't hurt me." I tried to keep my head clear, begging for my life. The fact that he was seeing every inch of my naked body didn't even matter anymore. Survival was the only thing on the menu. Seeing me shaking like a leaf, he grabbed a fresh towel from the rack and threw it at me. "Cover up. Get out." But my legs were jelly. I was paralyzed with fear, stiff as a rock. "What? You need an invitation? Or do you want me to carry you?" His tone was dark, dangerous. I was terrified of pissing him off. This guy was being hunted by a SWAT team for a reason. Okay, I'm moving. I forced myself up, crawling out of the tub like a clumsy animal. Yes, crawling. My legs wouldn't work. I had no idea what he would do next. Would he silence me? I saw his face. He watched me like a predator eyeing a wounded deer. Now that he was out of the water, I got a good look. The guy was devastatingly handsome. Like, criminal model handsome. He had to be at least 6 feet 2 inches, radiating a terrifying alpha energy. Up close, I saw scars scattered across his face. A jagged one cut through his eyebrow, making him look fierce, unapproachable. He stripped off his soaking wet black shirt and pants, revealing a ripped physique. Abs, pecs, the V-line, it was raw, masculine power. Under different circumstances, it would be sexy as hell. Right now, it was just intimidating. I kept my head down, clutching the towel. "Come here," he commanded. I walked over obediently. I was scared, but I was more afraid of dying. "Fix my back." He turned around. If I wasn't mistaken, that was a gunshot wound on his left shoulder blade. I'd seen that kind of mess in movies. It looks infected. You need alcohol or antiseptic. I don't have a first aid kit. I'd done some research for this trip, so I knew the basics of emergency first aid. His eyes sharpened instantly. "What? You want to go out to buy meds and call the cops?" No, I swear, I wouldn't dare. "But how can I treat this without supplies?" "Call the front desk. Order a bottle of whiskey. High proof. You know what to say." Under his death glare, I dialed the front desk and asked for their strongest bourbon. Before I opened the door for room service, he pressed the cold steel of his gun against my neck, whispering that if I tried anything funny, I'd regret it. I believed him. If I died here in this strange city, nobody would even come to claim my body. The waiter dropped off the booze and left. I closed the door, my heart sinking. When I turned around, he was sitting on the edge of the bed, gun pointed right at my chest. Thank God I played the coward earlier. If I had tried to run, he would have put a bullet in me. I got the booze. What now? I can handle a paper cut, but a bullet wound? He instructed me to dig the bullet out with my bare fingers. Keep it down on a folded towel, not making a single sound. My movements were clumsy and rough. I could feel the warm blood coating my fingers. His pain must have been excruciating. Clink. I dropped the bloody bullet into a crystal glass on the nightstand. He was drenched in sweat from the pain. I was drenched in cold sweat from the terror. He looked weak, vulnerable. A thought crossed my mind. If I smash that heavy glass bottle over his head right now, maybe I can knock him out. My hand twitched toward the bottle. Before I could even blink, he spun around, pinning me to the mattress. His massive hand clamped my wrists above my head, locking me down. "With that little brain of yours, you thought you could ambush me?" His grip was crushing my wrists. Tears welled up in my eyes. I didn't. I was just thirsty. I wanted water. "You're paranoid." I lied through my teeth, my eyes red and pleading. It really hurt. He stared at me for a second, then released me. "Help me up." He pointed to the head of the bed. After that little stunt, I didn't dare try anything else. I helped him get comfortable. Just as I was about to pull away, he yanked me down onto the bed next to him. "Don't go anywhere. Sleep right here." He deliberately placed his gun under the pillow, right within my reach. I didn't understand his game. Was he testing me? I lay there, stiff as a board, his arm draped heavily over me, terrified to even breathe too loud. 3 a.m. He woke up suddenly. He'd slept for maybe 4 hours. I hadn't slept a wink. My adrenaline was still pumping. "You were good. Get me a pen and paper." That was the first thing he said. "Is an eyeliner pencil okay?" I whispered. He nodded. He recovered fast. In just a few hours, he looked sharper, dangerous again. He took my eyeliner and started drawing strange symbols and a map on the hotel notepad. Tomorrow morning, mail this paper to this address using your name. He wrote down an address. I opened my mouth to ask what it was. Don't ask questions. The less you know, the longer you live. It sounded like a threat, but also, a weird kind of protection. I didn't know why I felt that. He put on his semi-dried black tactical gear, grabbed his gun, and moved to the window. That paper is important. Don't lose it. Then, he jumped. From the 8th floor. He vanished into the night just as silently as he had appeared. As soon as he was gone, I locked the window tight. I was terrified he might change his mind and come back to silence me. I sat there, praying for the sun to come up. I needed to leave this city. This hellhole that almost got me killed. 3 hours later, dawn broke. I rushed downstairs, checked out, and booked the first flight home. As for the important paper, I wasn't going to mail it to some criminal contact. I was going to the police. Turning over a clue about a dangerous fugitive was my civic duty, right? Maybe it would clear my conscience. I told myself that once I was back home, everything would go back to normal. This 7-day vacation, I enjoyed 2 days. The rest was a nightmare. The day after I got back, I wrapped myself up like a mummy, sunglasses, mask, scarf, and walked into the local precinct. I grabbed a young officer. Who's in charge here? I need to see the boss. Ma'am, do you want to file a report? It's special. Just take me to your superior. Seeing my nervous state, he took me to the deputy chief's office. Deputy Chief Stone was in. I explained everything and handed over the paper the fugitive left behind. When Stone saw the symbols, his face went pale. He looked shocked. He immediately picked up the red phone. I heard snippets. Black Wolf, Operation N7, major breakthrough. I was confused. Aren't you going to arrest him? He's injured. With this info, you can catch him, right? Chief Stone walked over to me, placed a hand on my shoulder, and said something that shattered my world. Miss, thank you for risking your life to bring this intel. On behalf of the people, thank you. I heard every word Stone said next, but I wished I hadn't. I have a little sense of justice, sure, but not this much. I had accidentally stumbled into something massive. I walked out of the station in a daze. So, that guy, Jax, or whatever his name is, he's not just a criminal. He's deep undercover, a ghost, and I just became his courier. He knew I would go to the police. He calculated my every move. What if I had thrown the paper away? The thought made me shiver, but at least I was safe now, right? He wasn't a terrorist. He was one of the good guys, technically. I got to my apartment building. Suddenly, a van screeched up to the curb, high beams blinding me. Before I could react, strong arms grabbed me. A cloth covered my mouth. Everything went black. I woke up groggy in the back of a moving vehicle. I heard voices. I knew number 5 was a rat. Now we got proof. Let's see if the old man trusts him now. Yeah, Rico. Why does he get to be the favorite? You've been with the old man since you were a kid. My head was spinning. I couldn't even scream. Just when I thought I was safe, I got kidnapped by the cartel. The van hit a bump, and I felt sick. One of the goons eyed me up and down. Boss, this chick is hot. Looks a bit dumb, though. 5 likes am stupid? Who cares? Once the old man is done with her, we can have our fun. My blood ran cold.
5 or 6 hours passed. I was starving and dehydrated. The van stopped. I was thrown onto concrete. They ripped the black hood off my head. I was in a rusted warehouse. Leopard, watch her. I'm going to find the old man. Boss, Rico left. The guy named Leopard looked at me with a disgusting grin. Hey baby, hungry? Why don't you be nice to me and I'll let you have a full meal before you die. Despair washed over me. These people were definitely connected to Jax. Who are you people? Stop acting. You're Jax's informant. You're in Rico's hands now. Jax is dead meat. So his name is Jax, or at least that's what they call him. I played dumb, but my mind was racing. The only person who could save me now was him. Suddenly a shadow moved near the warehouse entrance. Fast, blur fast, thud. Leopard dropped to the floor unconscious. A figure stood there wearing a hat and black mask. I couldn't see his face, but the vibe, I knew it. It's you came for me. I gasped, hope surging through me. Listen to me. Remember every word I say. He crouched down. He told me exactly what was about to happen and how I had to act. He said he couldn't take me now. If we ran, we'd both be hunted down. I had to play a part. Before he vanished, he shoved a small object into my hand. Plant this on the guy who grabbed you. It will save your life. I nodded frantically. This was my only bet. An hour later, Rico came back. He saw Leopard on the floor and kicked him awake. Get up, idiot. Did you touch her? No, boss, I wanted to, but I blacked out. Rico didn't waste time. He dragged me to a car. I knew I was walking into the lion's den. While he dragged me, I found a moment to slip the object Jax gave me into Rico's jacket pocket. I pretended to be passed out until someone splashed a bucket of ice water on my face. I sputtered, coughing, and looked up. I was staring into the most terrifying eye I had ever seen. An old man, silver hair, sitting on a throne-like chair. Half his face was scarred, paralyzed like a wax figure. He only had one good eye. Rico. Is this Five's informant? The old man's voice was quiet, deadly. Pops, I saw it with my own eyes. She contacted the cops. Jax let her go on purpose. Do you have proof? Five came back with a bullet in his shoulder and secured a massive deal. Who should I trust? The old man was suspicious of everyone. Then he walked in. Jax, he looked even more imposing in a suit. The room went silent. It was showtime. I started screaming like a banshee. You bastard, you hit it and quit it. I told you you can't just dump me. I already filed a missing person report for you. The room froze. Everyone looked at Jax. Five, who is this? The old man asked, amused. Jax walked up to Rico, his eyes cold. Rico, you got balls touching my woman. Jax, don't give me that crap. She's a narc. Rico yelled. At the word narc, every goon in the room reached for their waistbands. The old man raised a hand. Five, explain. Pops, if you trust this idiot over me, just shoot me now. Pulled out his gun and slammed it onto the mahogany table in front of the old man. Rico smirked. He thought he won. The old man rubbed his fake cheek, looked at Jax, then picked up the gun and pointed it at me. I almost peed myself. My teeth were chattering so loud it echoed. Jax stood there stone cold. He didn't move to stop it. The old man didn't pull the trigger. Use your phone, call the police station, put it on speaker. I remembered Jax's instruction. Cough before you speak. I dialed. Hello, officer, I'm the girl who reported her boyfriend missing this morning. Yeah, I found him. Sorry to bother you. MS Miller, right? I remember you crying in the lobby. Glad you found him. Cop played along perfectly. I hung up and looked at Jax with puppy dog eyes, continuing my act. It's all your fault, I don't care if you're a gangster or whatever, I'm yours. Alive or dead, I'm sticking to you like glue. Jax ignored me, waiting for the old man's verdict. Rico was losing it. Pops, Jax is playing you, this bitch isn't just a girlfriend. Smash. The old man threw a teacup at Rico's feet. Rico, you are brothers, I know you're jealous of Five, but this ends now. Let her go, Rico snapped. He lunged at me, his hands closing around my throat. You lying bitch, talk or I'll choke the life out of you. I couldn't breathe. My face turned purple. I flailed my arms, clawing at him, and managed to rip the object out of his pocket, the one I planted earlier. It fell to the floor with a metallic clink. A ring, a very specific, unique ring. The old man saw it, his face twisted into a mask of pure horror and rage. Jax moved. He launched a kick that sent Rico flying across the room. I heard ribs crack. The old man picked up the ring, his hand trembling. The room went dead silent. The old man stared at the ring in his trembling hand. It was a custom piece, a tracking device disguised as jewelry. He had made it for his daughter, Shadow. Years ago, she was supposed to marry Jax, but 3 years ago during a botched operation, she died. The ring had vanished before her body was found. The old man had always suspected a rat. He just didn't know who. Now that ring, the one that could have saved his daughter, had fallen out his pocket. Rico, seeing the ring, turned pale. Pops, I can explain. I found it. I was gonna give it to you. The old man didn't say a word. The grief in his one good eye vanished, replaced by cold, demonic rage. He raised his pistol. Bang, no hesitation, no trial. The bullet caught Rico right between the eyes. His head snapped back, spraying blood and brain matter all over the wall behind him. His body crumpled to the floor like a sack of garbage. I gagged. My stomach churned violently. It was the first time I'd ever seen a man executed. The metallic smell of blood filled the air instantly. I clamped my hands over my mouth to stop myself from screaming. Jax walked over to the old man. Pops, you okay? Shadow can rest now, the old man whispered, his voice cracking. The rat is dead. He looked at Jax, exhausted. Take the girl. Get out of here. I need to be alone. Didn't waste a second. He scooped me up into his arms. My legs were useless. Between the fear and the adrenaline crash I couldn't stand, he carried me out of the warehouse, threw me into his black SUV, and drove us to a high-end fortified apartment complex. This was his den. Security cameras everywhere, guards at the gate. He carried me into the master bedroom and kicked the door shut. I opened my mouth to ask him a million questions, but he pressed a finger to my lips. Listen to me, he whispered, his voice low and rough. This room is bugged, cameras, mics. The old man is paranoid. He's watching. He looked at me, his eyes dark and intense. You said you were crazy about me, right? Prove it. We need to put on a show. My face flushed hot. Scream for me, he commanded, loud enough for the mics to pick up. Take your clothes off, baby. He ripped his own shirt off, revealing that sculpted, scarred chest. He tossed it aside and loomed over me. I swallowed hard, my heart pounding. I knew what I had to do. I unclasped my bra and threw it across the room. Jax grabbed my waist and threw me onto the bed. He pulled the duvet over us, creating a tent of privacy. Moan, he whispered in my ear, loud. Then he started rocking the bed. I closed my eyes and let go. Oh God, Jax, yes, that's it, he growled, playing the part of the aggressive lover perfectly. You like that? You like how I own you? Yes, harder, I screamed, my nails digging into his shoulders. For over an hour we put on an Oscar-worthy performance of raw, animalistic sex. The bed squeaked. I screamed until my throat was raw, and he growled dirty things that made my toes curl, even though I knew it was fake. But lying there, skin to skin, sweat mingling, it didn't feel entirely fake. The tension was electric. When the show was over, he pulled me into the bathroom. He turned on the shower, letting the steam fill the room. We stood there naked, the water running over us. He didn't touch me sexually this time. He just washed the blood and grime off his body. We went back to the bed, lights off. The silence was heavy. I needed answers. I grabbed his hand and traced letters on his palm. Am I safe? He flipped my hand over and traced back on my skin. His finger was calloused, rough. Sorry, I dragged you into this. You knew I'd go to the cops. I wrote, yeah. Don't worry, I will protect you. Feeling his promise on my skin calmed me down. How long have you been undercover? You look like a real criminal. For the next few days I lived on a razor's edge. I learned that my disappearance had been handled by the police. They told my family I was safe. But here in the lion's den, one wrong move meant death. Jax was cold to everyone else, but with me he kept up the act of the possessive boyfriend. One afternoon he pulled me aside in the kitchen, away from the cameras. Tonight, he whispered. I'm going to the club to collect debts. You're coming. I leaked the info. The cops are going to raid the place. He gripped my shoulders tight. When the raid starts, chaos will break out. Do not look for me. Do not try to help me. Just let the cops arrest you. That's your ticket out. Understand? But what about you? I can handle myself. Just run. It was his way of setting me free. But as I said before, I'm Maya Miller, the unluckiest girl in the world. The club was pounding with bass and reeked of expensive cologne and cheap drugs. The tension was thick. The local gang leaders hated Jax. They knew he was the old man's favorite now that Rico was dead. Before Jax could even say a word, a bottle smashed. A dozen guys rushed him. Jax moved like a machine. He dodged a knife, snapped a guy's arm, and kicked another into a table. Then I saw it. The guy on the floor was reaching for a bag of white powder, pure fentanyl. If he threw that in Jax's face, he was dead. Right side, I screamed. He ducked just as the powder flew through the air. Boom, the doors burst open. Police down on the ground, chaos, screaming, gunshots. Jax looked at me one last time, his eyes saying go, and then he vanished into the shadows. I turned to run toward the police line. Suddenly a hand clamped over my mouth, a rag soaked in chloroform. So fast, bitch. A woman's voice. I was dragged backward out a side exit into the dark alley. It was Rico's wife, Madame V, the woman who ran the cartel's brothels. She knew I was the reason her husband got his brains blown out. I woke up in a basement that smelled of bleach and rot. My body screamed in pain. My clothes were torn to shreds. I was tied to a dirty mattress. Standing over me were 3 massive, sweating men. They were buckling their belts, laughing. I felt broken, hollow. I realized with a sick horror what had just happened. They had used me. One after another, Madame V stood in the corner smoking a cigarette, watching with a cruel smile. That's for Rico, she spat. I hope you enjoyed it, honey, because now I'm going to cut you up piece by piece. She pulled out a phone and dialed. Yeah, I got your little girlfriend. She's been entertaining my boys. Come say goodbye. She wanted him to suffer. She wanted him to walk into a trap. But she underestimated the Black Wolf. When Jax arrived, he didn't sneak in. He kicked the steel door off its hinges. He was a demon. He was covered in blood, not his own. He had slaughtered every guard on his way down. When he saw me bruised, bleeding, naked, and broken on that mattress, something inside him snapped. He didn't just kill the 3 men who hurt me. He butchered them. It was a blur of violence and rage. Madame V tried to shoot him, but he was too fast. He put a bullet in her leg, then one in her head. Silence fell over the basement. He dropped his gun and rushed to me. His hands, usually so steady, were shaking. He took off his blood-soaked jacket and wrapped me in it, covering my shame. Maya, oh God, Maya, I couldn't speak. I just stared at the ceiling, tears leaking from my eyes. I wanted to die. You dare give up, he choked out, lifting me into his arms. I'm here, I got you. He carried me out of that hellhole. Listen to me, he said, pressing his forehead against mine. If I get out of this alive, I'm going to marry you. You hear me? I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this up to you. I managed a weak, broken smile before the darkness took me again. I woke up in a hospital bed, beeping machines, white walls. My mom was there. She looked 10 years older. Mom, I survived. 2 detectives came in later. They debriefed me. They told me I was brave. They told me the cartel was dismantled. What about him? I asked, my voice raspy. What is his real name? They looked at each other. We can't disclose that yet, ma'am. Operation Black Wolf is still wrapping up, but he saved a lot of lives. I spent 2 weeks in that hospital. The physical wounds healed, but the nightmares stayed. Every night I felt dirty hands on me. I woke up screaming, but then I remembered his voice. I'm going to marry you. That promise was the only thing holding my sanity together. I went back to work. I went to therapy. Strange things started happening. My bad luck, it was gone. I got a promotion. My difficult clients vanished. I found a $20 bill on the street. I bought a scratch-off ticket and won $5,000. It was like the universe was apologizing for almost killing me. But I was hollow. A month passed. No word from him. One night I was watching TV with my parents. My dad was flipping channels. Breaking news. I grabbed the remote and turned up the volume. J-State police have dismantled the largest drug ring in the state. 19 suspects arrested. 5 confirmed dead in the shootout. The screen flashed a list of the deceased officers and undercover agents. Codename Black Wolf. My heart stopped. No, he couldn't be dead. He promised. I called Deputy Chief Stone. I still had his number. Tell me it's not true. I sobbed into the phone. Tell me Jax is alive. Silence. I'm sorry, Maya. He died a hero. I dropped the phone. The world turned gray. I didn't go to the memorial service. I couldn't face a flag-draped coffin. I became a zombie. I worked. I slept. I stared at walls. I tried to be happy. I watched comedies. I forced smiles. But inside I was dead. 2 months passed. My mom couldn't take it anymore. Maya, please, you have to move on. My friend's son. He's a good guy. Just meet him. For me, I didn't have the energy to fight. Fine, whatever. I went to work the next day. My colleague Sissay buzzed my intercom. Maya, there's a guy downstairs for you. I sighed, probably the blind date. I walked down to the lobby. It was empty. Great. Even my blind date stood me up. I turned around to go back to the elevator. Maya, that voice. I froze. My blood turned to ice, then fire. I turned around slowly. Standing in the sunlight, wearing a crisp white shirt, no scars, no blood, was him. He smiled. A real, genuine smile. Hi. I'm Jackson. Jackson, right? Nice to meet you. He didn't die. He faked it to get out, to be free. I ran to him. He caught me spinning me around in the middle of the lobby. The nightmare was over. My luck had finally turned for good. The end.